Hey, what's your problem? You have business problems? We have business solutions.
I hope.
Well, maybe.
Sure.
Life is a fight.
It is.
In business, every day is a fight. So hey, what's your problem?
Yes, thank you, John David Wells. Love that guy. I really need to reconnect. Remind me if you guys could reach out to me. Send me an email to remind me to reach out to him and can reconnect. If you could, that would be wonderful. John David Wells. Check him out on the Wells Report, the big voice guy for the What's Your Problem podcast. This is a podcast where we talk to Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals about the one thing, because it's always something.
Always.
That keeps you up at night when you're doing this kind of work. So, that's what we discuss. This is a video and audio podcast. Check us out at whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Make reservations, make recommendations, not reservations. You can make reservations. I'm not sure what we're reserving, but I'll do my best to honor it. Recommendations, suggestions, guest suggestions, anybody from the Middle Tennessee area, that would be wonderful. Please subscribe, pick your poison. It's a video and audio podcast. You can watch my ugly mug or not. I am your host, Jim McCarthy with JimMcCarthyVoiceovers.com, and today, yet another returning guest and a B&Ier, Mr. Tyler Krause from Conversion First Marketing. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for coming out to endure this.
Absolutely.
Once again,
fine treatment.
You apparently are a glutton for punishment.
I like it.
Coming on this podcast.
This is so fun.
Yeah, man. So Tyler, if you haven't figured it out, is he's huge in the SEO-driven website building world. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's
a very layman's term.
Huge is the wrong term, but
right. Huge.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Yeah, You're huge in that world.
At best, we're developing, we're growing.
Oh, you're humble.
Yeah.
You know your stuff. You know you're like every week at me and I. Look how great we are, but I'm humble.
That's not.
That's okay.
Not true.
So that's not true.
Yeah.
As always, we start off the episodes with the Random 5 new sponsor. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. Brought to you by it'syourshow.co. Guess what they do? They put podcasts together. It's actually my company. That's what I do for a living. A large part of what I do is doing exactly what you're hearing now and making your show sound as good as this one, dare I say. If you're looking to get into the podcasting world, it's one of the best ways to market your business because podcasts are marketing machines. Not only do you get the episodes, the video and audio episodes, you get to pull the clips out of the podcasts. Those are the things that really matter. So you can put those on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all that fun stuff. Check it out, it'syourshow.co. And here we go. Random questions, Tyler. 5 of them.
Yeah.
How does your definition of a, quote, real man differ from the mainstream stereotype of a, quote, real man?
Oh, wow.
Right?
Boy, these are random, and that's a good one. Okay, I would challenge that there's an often the stereotype that real men don't express their feelings.
Yeah.
Most of the men that I would categorize as real men in my life actually were extremely good at that.
Yeah.
That would be my...
And that's the kind of the communities that you surround yourself in, a lot of faith-based communities. There's
Indeed.
a lot of intelligent, well EQ connected people in those communities.
Yeah, and you're kind of taught, like, one of the byproducts and benefits of faith is you're almost required to have moments of, like, awkward interaction with like-minded individuals, right?
Yeah.
So by awkward interaction, I mean you have to get deep at certain points, and it kind of brings that out of you. And so I guess I would say it just over 20 years of that, you slowly get trained to be like, let your guard down.
Yeah.
And so
Vulnerability.
Yeah. Got to do it.
Guys, just pay attention to his answer there. This is the kind of interview and show it's going to be today because he goes deep on stuff.
Oh, man.
And in a good way. Question number 2, is poverty an inevitable byproduct of human society?
Oh, man.
Wow.
Good gosh.
It's like we're getting into philosophy.
I thought we were talking websites, man.
I know, right?
Yes. My cold, hard answer is that yes, it is.
Yeah. It's kind of unavoidable.
Yeah, because I would say in a world where you're free to make your own choices, certain people will choose moral poverty and moral poverty will bring real poverty eventually.
Yeah.
And so, which is fine. Like there's a certain, obviously there's parts of poverty that are absolutely an influence of your environment, and those are to be avoided if possible. If systemically we can avoid those things, great.
Yeah.
But there are some decision paths that are that just end up in a place where if poverty is the representation that at its corest level you need shelter and food and relationship, I think we have the freedom to make choices that make all three of those things not a part of our life. So if you go down that path.
Is that the short answer? Or
yeah, I think I had a longer answer than I thought I was going to have there. So if you're just looking for yes, I could give you that.
Question number 3.
Yeah.
Do you think morality exists in nature, or is it a human construct?
Oh, man. You told me I could say pass when I went to, right? Yeah.
Sure. You want to pass? Sometimes the random questions go on these themes. Like we've had sports themes and restaurant themes. Now we're getting very philosophical.
Yeah.
So we'll skip that one. We'll call this one number 3 and just glean over it. What is the most worthwhile goal a person can dedicate their life to?
Oh, man. All right. The best I can answer this one is probably what I tell my kids, which is the greatest superpower that any of us have is the ability to tell ourselves no.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I like that.
So if you can tell yourself yes or tell yourself no, you can do just about whatever you want. But if you can't do much of anything.
Well, it's kind of like when the universe told Thanos no.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, he threw Gamora off the cliff.
Yeah. I should have seen this coming.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. The Avenger reference.
She should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
I always have to bring it there. All right.
Love it.
So question number 5. What? Gosh. Okay.
You got another one, don't you?
What has had the biggest impact on your political beliefs?
Wow, man.
I know. I don't know what's going on with this.
Biggest. Okay. I could probably say this pretty safely. Politics are not my expertise by any means. So here's what I would say. I tend to fall pretty strongly into the category of
liberal.
Personal. What'd you say?
I said liberal.
Yeah. No. I was just saying personal responsibility.
Yeah.
So my biggest influence on politics is generally associated with personal responsibility. And again, we don't control everything that happens to us. And some of us wake up in scenarios that are better than others. Like, for example, if you come from like a 2-parent family, you probably have some benefits to your reality that you woke up with that you didn't deserve, or you didn't do anything extra to deserve them. And some woke up without that. Either way, when you're 30, we both have to decide which parts of this can I be responsible for the future outcomes for. So I tend to, politically that tends to guide a lot of things.
I got at one point, and that'll wrap up the Random 5 brought to you by it'syourshow.co. Check those guys out, and we'll move on with this. So here we go. So yeah, I got really political when I worked for a radio station in Las Vegas. That was a talk station, and I really understood more about myself and where I stood on things. That as I moved forward in life, I delved a little bit deeper into the political, sideshow, if you will,
sure,
to the point where I just said, you know what, I can't control any of this. All it does is take years off my life.
Yes, yeah,
and,
absolutely.
I don't really pay attention to it much anymore.
Yeah, I love Twitter for certain content threads, and I cannot seem to keep politics off of it effectively. And it's just, I just can't. I can't.
Do you post on Twitter a lot?
I don't. No, I need to. I'll probably start soon, but I'm a longtime lurker.
Yeah. I lurk and I do the search function to see what's trending.
Yeah.
And usually if it has anything to do with cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Or oddly enough, I guess I must follow a hashtag with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
So
nice.
He's always popping up in
some dark night many years ago. You said follow that hashtag.
I guess.
And now you just get it forever.
Now I don't remember why, but it's there and whatever.
That's great.
But getting into things, you started the business. Just kind of give us a recap how you got into doing what you do. I honestly can't for the life of me remember what you were doing prior to Conversion First Marketing.
Yeah.
What led you into that?
Well, I'll give you the short story.
Okay.
I started a lawn care company in 2010 with a 16-year-old kid that knew how to do SEO. And so that was fascinating to me as a new service business. And I built my first website then to basically get that business off the ground. He did the SEO for it. And I would say I became hooked on kind of local business marketing and website development, SEO. As soon as I figured out SEO was a thing you could do, I was in. That was like such a fun game. To be like, oh my gosh, you can manipulate some of these things and win. That was super fun. So sold that business 3 years later, used that experience to join an SEO agency where I became an account manager and salesperson. I did accounts by day, taught myself SEO by night, got analytics certified, Google AdWords certified, kind of did all that stuff on the side, and then was able to move that position to a director of SEO position for a insurance agency in Brentwood. And that's what moved us to Tennessee. And
where were you?
It was great. I was in Colorado before that.
That's right. I do remember that.
Yeah. And so that moved us to Tennessee. My wife's family was from here.
Is it Colorado or Colorado?
It's what did I just say? Colorado. Yeah. Probably it's Arado. Yeah.
Because everything out there, it's not Nevada. It's Nevada.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was born in Minnesota. So
isn't that Minnesota?
Yeah, it is. Colorado killed my Minnesota accent, except for when I go home and get around.
Does it come back strong?
My relatives, yes, it does. Yeah.
What does it sound like?
Hey,
how you doing? Hey,
so you're back in town there? Yeah. Oh man, it's good to see you again. Real good. Yeah. Oh, totally. You're down in Tennessee now, huh? Yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, it's going real.
Did you buy a house?
Yeah. You going up to the lake? Yeah.
Go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. That's it,
what
man.
Is that? It's
That's it.
Like a Dutch kind of accent or something.
I love it. I watch Minnesota TV just to hear it, to bring it in. Yeah, I love it. It's
Are
it's
you a Vikings fan?
I am. I'm a diehard Vikings fan.
Nice.
I follow their stuff all the time, and they looked really good this year until this week. So this is if there's any Viking fans, we just got beat by Philly, and it's going to be all right, I think, but that's what we say every year. So right now,
I got into I'm for some reason I have a propensity to invoke bad habits into my life as of late, and one of them is gambling on football games. So
okay, nice,
and it's addicting because the first couple of times I was successful.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah, totally.
And that was the
get up a little bit.
I bet against our own Titans with the Giants.
Yeah.
Giants were the underdogs, and they ended up winning the game by 1 point.
That's right, man. That was I saw that one, and I have great news on that. I have not dipped into. I consider betting against the Vikings so that I feel good either way, whether they win or whether they lose.
Yeah.
But I know. Betting on football games would be a deep dark hole for me that I would fall down.
I did it last time with it was the Jets versus who did they play? But they were both teams that the Jets is always just awful.
Yeah,
was
it
always
Cleveland
awful.
Like last weekend?
Was it the Browns?
I think so. Yeah, I think they beat the Browns by in horrendous fashion.
1 point.
Yeah, by 1 point. Yes,
and so they were the underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
I put money on them.
Yeah.
Figuring, hey, my reasoning was that I said, I know the Jets win at least 2 or 3 games a season. Typically, they're early on because they're getting their footing still, and all the teams, and the Jets never seem to. Mm-hmm. And then they just get the pants beaten off them for the rest of the season.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, well, maybe this is one of those games that they're going to win. And then, sure enough, they started really gaining on the other team.
Yeah.
And then at some point, the other team's odds got worse, say, or improved, or however you look at it. But either way, if you put money on it, you'd make money.
Yeah.
If they won. So I already had money on the Jets. And then all of a sudden they flipped. And then I had money on the other team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
so
gotcha.
I bet I had money on both teams. There was either way I was.
So did you break even, or was it basically?
I more than broke even.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
nice. In either situation, I was hundreds of dollars above my bet.
Man.
There was no way I was going to lose.
Yeah. So, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to, sometime we'll flip here and you can tell me how to do that so I can have a bad hobby.
Is that ethical what I did?
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was fun nonetheless. Yeah. I started chuckling to myself when the game finished, and my wife was to my left, dead asleep in a nap, and my daughter's on the other side of the couch, and she goes, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "I just won $900." And my wife goes, "Stop gambling!" Like, why?
Totally. Yeah, your daughter's going to hear that and be like, 900, really? Yeah, sitting here. Awesome.
So you got into Colorado and lawn mowing business and local SEO, and that brought you here to Tennessee.
Yeah, so boy, my short story became a long one, but the Brentwood director of SEO for an insurance agency, I could tell very rapidly that I was a very overpaid internal employee with benefits and all that sort of stuff, when I should have been at best, I should have been a contractor, just a part-time freelance sort of position or whatnot. So I started CFM in October. I got here in July. I started CFM in October 7th. So we're about to turn 9, and got my first client in October of 2014, and then got promptly laid off January 6th, about 2 weeks before my third child in 3 years was born.
But you at least had the side gig started.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank God for that.
Yes. But yeah, until in your 9 months pregnant wife, and we had just burned all of our savings to get here, to buy a house when we got here and everything. So we just bought a house, and now I had lost my income. So that was a very okay, things are a little bit different, but here's my plan, and here's what we're going to do. And so, so from that, CFM was born. I started applying for jobs, applied to Ramsey, and had some interviews there. And I set about a race. Yeah. I said, I'm going to try to get freelance work. I'm going to try to get CFM off the ground, or I'm going to try to get a job, and we'll see which one wins. And CFM won by a landslide. Great.
Let me ask you, when was this, 2014, you said?
Yeah, January 2015 would have been when this was happening, but yeah.
Okay, that's when the layoff happened.
Yeah.
You just got here, did you buy a house at that point?
We did, yeah.
And then, your back's up against the wall, you've got nowhere to go but up.
We had $2,000 in the bank.
Oh my gosh, this is such a familiar story.
$2,000, yeah.
Because that's exactly what happened to me.
Oh yeah?
In 2016, yeah.
Oh.
So I had one instance where I had a hair to go out on my own doing voiceover video, what I do now, but the plan was for me to go into the car business, and there was a detour that happened with a collision business locally here. And when that ended, again, I was laid off. I had half a mind to just do this full time. And my wife was like,
it's tough.
If you can go sell cars and make us money, it's probably a good plan. Okay. And I'm glad I did, because it helped me immensely. But the second time around, the last job I worked for, where I got let go, and it just wasn't a good match. It's not nobody's fault. That's when I was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah, I'm going for it.
Now I know.
Yep.
Did you have that feeling when that happened, or?
I'll be honest. I felt like I was about 2 years too early.
Really?
I had plans to go solo at some point, but I felt like 2 years early. Now that said, I put down the foundation of what we do now. I laid down that first year. Yeah. So the SEO first website design process, which is what we've built our reputation on, I did it. I got my first big real world experience, total thrown to the fire. It was a 13 dealership, John Deere dealership group that we got to redesign their website, and we tripled their traffic over the next 3 years. It wasn't immediate, but we tripled their traffic. No real other SEO investments other than what we did, and we built it from the SEO first process. And it was the first moment that I got to go, I think I know how to do something. And I got my first real world experiment with it. And I had so many nights that we were building web pages at 3 a.m. It was a real. And then I came stumbling to BNI. When that deal was done, that website was built. That's when I came stumbling to BNI the next October, because I didn't have any big freelance jobs lined up, and it was like, okay, I got to go get clients. I have to go get more clients or find some sort of local source. But then I started working with one of the B&I folks to redesign another website. We did it again, and we put him number one on Google within like 30 days of redesigning his site. And that was the year that I was like, I think we're doing something here that I don't see other people doing.
Right. And a lot of service-based industries are what you kind of primarily deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, we would absolutely be like, we're primarily locally focused. And inside of that group, we have niche medical and service-based businesses are really what we help a lot.
Right. What's the most off kilter, out in left field kind of business you deal with? Voiceover?
I did, probably podcast with a voiceover guy. I got asked to do a men's underwear Shopify store once, and I got to audit that, so I learned a lot about men's underwear and the SEO auditing and the keywords aspect of that.
Did it make you keenly aware of the shortcomings of the current underwear you wear?
No, it made me grateful that I don't care about meshed banana hammock like underwear. I was like, I'm glad this is not my world, that I have to care about this at all. So I was very content with the current underwear status. So, yeah.
But sometimes you stumble across things like that and you're going, this is all starting to make a lot of sense right now. And maybe I'm wearing the wrong underwear. Maybe I got to try this stuff out.
Yeah, the good news is, you're in a good marriage when you flash the screen to your wife multiple times to be like, yeah, what do you think about these? No.
Did not do it for you?
Yeah, no, she was adamant to be like, if you ever delve down that realm, it'll be the end of us. So she was very adamant. I will tell you the diciest. One other quick thing to this answer is, it was a fascinatingly dicey thing. My first client of CFM was actually a plastic surgeon, and the first thing I got asked to do was SEO for breast augmentation.
Yeah,
and so nothing like pitching your 8-month pregnant wife, like, hey, I just got a client. The content is breast augmentation, but they wrote
Isn't that
a check.
Great?
Yeah, right. But they wrote a check, and we could use a check. And so that was probably, honestly, that was the diciest of the clients.
What was her reaction?
It was. I trust you, and if you say you can handle it, if you say you can walk this line of writing content for that, then I'll believe you. And it worked out just fine. So
did you preface it by, babe, this is going to be huge?
Yeah. Nice. I'm sure I had several puns at the time. Yeah. No, I'm not going to do it. I can't do it.
Go ahead. No. What is it?
I think it just perked my interest. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Where's my thing? Hold on. I got it here somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't.
Profits are sagging.
Oh my, look at you. Here it is.
We can go now. Yeah. Nope. Pass. Where's the pass button? Pass.
We need to firm things up in marketing.
This is terrible.
So that's how you got here. And the last time you were on the podcast, we talked about a whole assortment of different things. Trust assets. Yeah, which I believe is your thing. That you've coined that term, right?
It is. Yeah,
good for you.
We're in the process of trademarking the phrase marketing trust assets, and we use it a lot. Obviously, like, there are trusts, like wills and trusts sort of thing, but we're talking about assets that help build trust in a marketing collateral environment. And we've been, when I was on, I can't even remember when I was on last, but it was at least 2 years ago, probably.
Nah, maybe a year and a half or so. Yeah.
So we've been in the kitchen or in the lab, just figuring out what the terminology is here. But I do feel like the trust asset aspect is one I don't ever hear. I never hear other marketers talk about it the way that we do.
Well, describe again, what is a trust asset?
Yeah. So a trust asset is, it's a piece of marketing collateral that is only there for its ability to build trust. And so if you are engaging in a development of marketing material of some kind, we use language that doesn't accurately describe what it's doing there very often. So people will say you need things like social proof, or you need photos. Like, we got to get photos lined up.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, you can go get a stock photo. Photo isn't what you need. What you need is a photo that actually builds trust in the audience you're targeting for the offer that you're trying to communicate alongside of them. And so trust assets are the things, like, if you look at a homepage of a website, you will see things on them where if you think about it through this lens, the only reason they're there is just because that's a thing that people widely regard as trustworthy. That's the only reason it's there. But nobody in the marketing community talks about it like that. Nobody, they call it a photo, they call it social proof, they call it reviews or testimonials or hard data points or things like that. But all of those are just, they signal to trust indicators in our gut.
Yeah.
For what you're kind of searching for and looking for with those.
It has an intrinsic immediate value.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and
that conveys trust for that company.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The value.
Is that how you would describe it?
The value, I would tweak it just a little bit. You're really close. The value.
Wait, are we going back to the breast augmentation site?
No, that's right. Well, see, that's the tough part about marketing to breast augmentation is that you have to put trust assets out there, and
that's
so
right.
Those assets,
they got to be bolstered.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's you gotta delve into that. But yeah, we can use a different example. Yeah, thank you for that.
No problem.
We can use, but you're really close. It's the value. See, a lot of people tend to think that they'll look at a photo and they'll call it like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
Well, what looks good is a trust instinct, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if things are well designed, you will make an assumption of quality of the product based on the quality of the design. That's that's a minimal.
How it's portrayed.
Portrayed, right?
Yeah.
So when you're buying shampoo at the grocery store, you are looking at a bottle and you are using the bottle to decide if the shampoo inside of it's any good. Because and the offer could be part of it, but here's the thing where this breaks down. If you really think about this, next time you go to buy shampoo, you'll look at it and you could have, if it was in a bottle that didn't look right,
yeah,
but it had all the same offers on it, had all the same language, right? It'll clean your hair, it shines, it's made from natural places, it doesn't harm animals. That's all offer, right? That's all the offer stuff. But if it's in the wrong bottle, you don't trust that it's any good, and you wouldn't. And so that bottle in this context,
the shape of it,
yeah,
and the color of the shampoo.
That's right. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like, for me, if I see a nuclear green, kind of bubbly liquid inside of a shampoo bottle, for some reason I think it does a better job. But if it's red, I feel like I'm putting blood in my hair.
Exactly.
Exactly. So, and then sometimes if it's white, it just, it's kind of odd. It's weird.
So take that same instinct back to a local business or your kind of average business, probably some like your audience. When you are trying to convey that same gut sense of trust, where it's like, if the color of the shampoo can influence whether or not you believe at a gut level if the shampoo is any good or not, what's the same equivalent for a local business that's going to do the same thing? So a lot of times, you don't even know that you're scanning for these, but you're scanning for reviews. Even if you don't read the reviews, you just want to know that they're there. You want to know that they've got 5 stars and they've got a lot of them. You're scanning for what we call a marketable persona. So a marketable persona is anybody. It's a type of person or icon or thing. It doesn't have to be human. It can be. I've seen IT companies that have like a cute little monster. That cute little monster is conveying trust. That's the only reason that he's there, is to try to bring.
And it's somewhat gimmicky.
Yeah. So there, of course, there can be other values to those things where it's like it can catch your attention. Like a big part of marketing is catching attention. So don't throw those things out with the bathwater. But if you catch attention and don't build trust, somebody has to believe that when you say you can do X thing, they have to scan to go, I actually believe they can follow through with it. And so the industry tends to call those things social proof and reviews and photos and media and videos and all that sort of stuff. And we view it through the lens of that photo is considered good if it is a photo that will build a lot of trust in the offer that's right next to it. Mm-hmm. And that's the core of trust assets. And I'll wrap it up with this, is to just say, I call them trust assets, which is funny because I was trying to figure out what to call these things 4 or 5 years ago. And I call them trust assets because once you build them, they'll make you money over and over and over again.
Right.
So it's like an asset. It really, like if you have a Google My Business that has 100 5-star reviews, you have built an asset. It's a trust asset. You can package that and you can put that in so many places. You put it on your podcast, you put it in your social media posts, you put it on your new TikTok videos. Like you can read that 5 little stars and the right you have to say that somewhere out there, I have 100 reviews that says I'm good at what I do. You can repackage that in all kinds of marketing collateral. And so that's why we call it an asset. It's like you have to build it, but once you've built it, like
use it.
Yeah, then you can use it. Then you use it all over. And so like a website just becomes a delivery of the trust you've already built. It's just a delivery vehicle of the offer and the trust that you've built, and you package those together. And great designers, which a lot of times you're assuming all 3 things happen. I know I'm just cranking on this here, but you assume all 3 things have happened. That somebody is building, that the offer is good. Like when you hire a website designer, you hire a designer to put together a thing like that. You're assuming they're good at copy. You're assuming that they can write good offers. You're also assuming that the photos that they pick are going to align with those offers and that they're going to organize it in a way that people accept. And so that I find that if you break those down, you can allow the specialists to do what they do really well. And not like run them together. So
well, you come across a business that has nothing but, let's say, 582 5-star reviews.
Okay,
what's the first thing that crosses your mind? I think it's too good to be true.
Okay, great.
Immediately I go to
suspicion. Yeah.
Let me go and look at these things and see if they feel legit.
That's
you
great.
know what I mean? That's my process. Maybe I'm just too cynical.
Well, okay. So what would you need to see? I mean, and we can vamp on this. What would you need to see in those reviews in order to actually start to accept them?
I think once you get the feel of how they're written, how long are they? Are they clunky? Are they, is the punctuation mishandled?
Right. Do they look spammy?
Right. Not even, but you want to see human element.
Yeah.
Real authentic human element to the comments, so they're real people.
Right.
Because I've seen and I've known of certain businesses that would go in and hire people to pump good, positive reviews into those sections so they could game the system. And so, intrinsically, I just kind of, a little bit of a black eye, a little bit of a chink in the armor is okay.
Sure.
That's why even some of these dealerships say, hey, we've got a solid 4.6 star rating.
Right. Yep.
That's trustworthy to me. Now you're admitting to me a negative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you're not going to get all 5s. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Right. That nobody's perfect.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And so, one of the things we talk about a lot is trust asset optimization. Mm-hmm. So if you think about the review scenario, we talk about one of my favorite trust assets is value prop ridden reviews. So if you're looking to figure out what your customers want, you need to go look at your reviews and look at what they yell about, either up or down, right? Either good or bad. Look at what they yell about. If they're like, oh my gosh, the service was amazing, or so-and-so led me through X process, amazing, or so-and-so company was on time, they text me before they got there. You'll see, if you look, especially service businesses, you'll see reviewers list the things that they actually care about in those reviews. And so what we teach folks to do is, the industry just calls it like you got to get reviews. And we all know that like reviews is just part of the conversation. If those reviews are enthusiastic and full of value propositions, I grab that text and we make that headline copy all the time. You put that next to your photos. So your photos is showing a before and after. Yeah. And then you stack the user's review next to it. And now you've doubled up the trust when you're thinking about that. So it's like, let's say it's a home builder sort of thing or a remodeler, right? They take ugly bathroom, picture 1. They take beautiful bathroom, picture 2. And then you layer in the review. And especially if, let's take this level, layer in the review and you're going, I see the before and after and the satisfied customer. Now, if you want to optimize the asset even more, put their picture next to it. And then you can even put the price of their job next to it too. So all you're doing is layering in.
That's a power play right there.
Yeah. All you're doing is layering in the levels of trust in that asset.
Yeah.
And you're just the best trust assets you have, you accept at face value. You need no other explanation.
It feels right.
Exactly.
Feels human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe that's a real person that gave their real opinion about a real job that this company did.
See, when you say all the different value points in the review,
Yeah.
some of that would make me suspicious only because in radio, we've had so many ads where I want it to sound like a natural conversation between two people. And it never does.
Yeah,
Because we got to pack in some sort of, awareness of the business, value proposition as to why you'd want to use the business into a 30 or 60-second spot, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And whenever you have two people talking,
Yeah.
hey, where did you get that ring? Oh, you noticed, Molly? I got it from Jewelry Designs. Oh,
Yeah.
where are they? They're on Mill Plain Road in Danbury.
Totally.
Oh, really? What's their phone number?
Yeah. Right.
I'm not kidding you.
Yeah. No,
You know?
I've heard them. Yep.
And it's funny because I had a salesperson once come up to me. They really want a conversational ad. Okay. And they wanted to model another ad that we play here on the radio station. I kid you not, this conversation happened.
Okay.
And I said, okay, who's it for? Well, I don't know.
Okay.
The woman's name was Joyce. I said, Joyce, listen to what you just told me.
Yeah.
You want a conversational spot where two people are going back and forth and raving on the golf course about some whatever trinket that this guy got. And this is what your customer wants, but he can't remember who the company is.
Oh, man.
What is the problem here?
Yeah.
Well, I don't care. That's just what they want.
Yeah.
This is why you make your job harder. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not consulting with your client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in those environments, what you're doing is exactly what you should do, which is one of the ways that we develop websites, and in the TOT method, which is what we call this, the full TOT method, in which the trust is the third T of the TOT, is we always build our marketing for the least trusting audience. So what you're describing is you understand a saturated market in which the companies in it have already pulled all of the trust levers. They've already done they've listed the reviews. They've had the customers try to sound natural. They've tried to go through all of those
Family
things.
owned and operated.
Right.
Conveniently located.
That's right. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So family owned and operated has nothing to do with the quality of cars that you buy, right? That's
Our staff is friendly and experienced.
yeah. Right. Yes.
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
All these things I would expect of you.
Right. Yes. And you are a legacy car guy. Like you know this copy, right?
Yeah.
The copy is in your head. And so that's what makes trust asset optimization really powerful, is instead of thinking to yourself, how do I make another gimmicky ad using the same old techniques? You start to ask yourself, what would my audience trust? What's my least trusting audience gonna? And there's some of those markets where it's like they've already tapped the well many, many times. And there's, it's not a magic bullet in to say that like you can, suddenly create trust in a totally brand new way. The gut instinct is we're always scanning for the scam. So we're always looking for the crack in the armor with a company.
The BS meter.
That's right. Yeah, totally.
What triggers it?
And the more you market to an audience, the more they're just going to see through like, this is just another car ad,
Yeah.
And so you've got a big challenge there. But thinking about it in terms of how can we get through to something that this audience would trust?
Candor.
Yeah.
Candor.
Humor.
Admitting a negative.
Yeah, that's great.
That whole concept won me an AIR award.
Oh.
1 year with a delership here locally. We sat down with him, talked it out. I asked him, "What's your biggest problem?" And he's this is a guy who's done it all. He says, "I've done the shouting spots. I've done, balloons on the cars, the purple gorilla, the flappy armed wavy guy on the front, all that kind of stuff. All these gimmicks." I said, and he seemed like he was just so burned out. I said, "Okay, what's your biggest challenge?" He goes, "Our location. Nobody can find us.
Sure.
Our location's horrible." I said, "Well, I'll qualify that. I'll say that you're a Chevrolet dealer, and based on my quick Googling just now, I could tell you that there's 30 other Chevrolet dealers within a 50-mile radius. That's another challenge.
Yeah, absolutely.
You all sell the same things."
That's right. Yep.
I said, "So what I'm going to propose here is something that you're going to have to actually put into practice as a culture and mirror it on the inside. All I can do is bring butts to the seats and put out a message that will help you. But dude, once they get here, you got to match what I'm going to be painting. So I said, I can only help you until that. So we did the whole thing. We had him, come in, record the spot, and he introduced himself very matter-of-factly. We made fun of the spots with all the disclaimers on them, the real fast reading.
Sure.
We did the whole, yelling in your face type spot. And, and it was all produced so it just would wind down. Like, man, I'm just tired of yelling at you.
Yeah.
Look, we're a Chevrolet dealer, and we're just going to be honest about it. You can pretty much find any other Chevrolet at our dealership, at any other Chevrolet dealership around here.
Yeah.
All I can tell you, we're just going to be honest about it. We're going to be a dealership that's going to be honest about it. You want us to prove it? Fine. We'll admit a negative. Good luck finding us.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's how I wrote like 4 spots like this.
Yeah.
Won me an award.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's perfect. So
you
broke through the audience
while it zags.
You broke through the audience, and you found a message that built trust in a different way.
And it really resonated.
Yeah.
Now they never mirrored it inside the dealership, but there's only so much I can do.
That's right. You're only so much a miracle worker.
It's not what I'm saying, but hey, I'll take it.
The miracles have limits, but no, that's beautiful, and it's perfect, and it's a great way. Like unexpected transparency or authenticity are huge trust indicators. This is why like influencer marketing and kind of what we're seeing with the internet and authority built through training and teaching is so unbelievably powerful, because by the time people get to the offers, they already come in believing that the trust is there
because they had somebody they trust who's vamping for them.
Yep. So if you
that's no different than endorsing.
Yeah, absolutely.
A popular radio personality or television personality endorsing a product is no different.
Yep.
Okay, and it's funny because all these things repeat themselves. Everything we're talking about repeats itself.
Yep.
The candor approach, being authentic and real, happened back in the early 80s during the revolution of the rental car wars. Okay, I think it was Hertz was number 1, and I want to say maybe it was Avis that was a close number 2. Their whole thing, and they knew it. They knew they were not in the number 1 spot. Avis, we're not number 1, but we try harder. That was their positioner.
Sure, yeah.
But it's solidified.
Yeah, it's a good offer.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
McDonald's,
Sure.
And then you had who's number 2 in that category? Burger King.
Yeah.
But what's their big thing? They almost created a whole separate category to be first in.
Eat great, even late. Is that Burger King?
That's Taco Bell, I think.
Burger
King was have it your way.
Have it your way. That's right. Yeah.
And they had flame broiled hamburgers that you could smell coming out of the building. They never quite beat McDonald's at their own game.
Sure.
But that's, it's the same song and dance over and over.
Which a big part of so take that down to local listeners, right? You're a plumbing company, and I, at this point, 10 years of doing this, have sat across, I don't know, so many service businesses, and essentially they all come in with the same offer, and this is what they have to do, is because they don't have much different to sell. So if you're a plumber, for example, you're selling plumbing services probably around the same price range. If you're brand new and hungry for work, you're maybe a little bit cheaper. If you're old and experienced, got a good network, then you're going to be on the more expensive end. But you're probably not marketing too much on price. And when I sit down and talk to these business owners, what I hear over and over again is, I say, hey, if you get face to face with a customer, you're trying to convince them, how do you sell them? Yeah. Well, it's our service. It's just
customer service.
We show up with the friend. Yeah, we take extra time. We spend the extra stuff, and it's like, and that's where it's all at. So I'm like, okay, if you're going to market yourself on service, then let's go to your reviews, because people will not believe you at face value. Nobody trusts 10 different plumbing companies side by side. Like if you're sitting on the internet, and this is the world that I play in, is like, I have to figure out how to differentiate my customers side by side to 15 competitors that are all saying their service is the best in town.
Right.
So what trust assets do you have that I can convince them that you actually are a superior service company? And the more intangible the product, the more intangible the actual success, the more robust you have to build the trust to go alongside of your offers. Because what you end up doing, like Burger King did, there's parts to this. Burger King basically is selling a hamburger just like McDonald's.
Yeah.
They put a little bit of differentiators on it. But then they have to build trust that like they can actually come through with it. And obviously they've done well, but they're still just selling hamburgers and they've never caught the market share of McDonald's. And so folks in town here that are trying to market basically another hamburger side by side sort of thing is you can find some offers that differentiate you. You know, hey, we work on weekends and we work nights. So we'll wait till you get home sort of thing. That's an offer. That's an offer differentiator. That can help you win in the absence of trust assets. And so, but if you're basically saying the same thing that everybody else is, then the number one lever, there's two levers.
You're a Me Too brand.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you are the biggest lever I can do is let's better document your ability to do your job well than your competitors have done.
And pictures of people shaking hands and looking at the camera smiling really conveys that message, right?
Well, if the
stock photos?
Yeah, I was going to say, not the stock.
No.
Yeah. So it can design, clear design, like we said with the shampoo bottle. Attention to detail in your design is its own trust asset. But everybody knows a stock photo is just a stock photo in most cases. So if you can if you can actually show your crew, we call it a marketable persona. Some owners are not marketable. They are not the marketable persona for their business. They should not be the thing that they're trying to make the face of it. So that's where you look at your staff or you look at other things that you can tie into. Maybe you get a cartoon made up, right? That you attach an image to what you're doing. But yes, if you can actually get an experience with the owner and feel like, or an experience with the crew, especially with service business, then you can have a sense of trust when you're looking at a web page at home, on your phone, trying to figure out who's going to come to your house this week to fix your HVAC or something like that. Then you're just trying to go like, oh, and this is an amazing part of so much of this marketing is it's like, how often is it like, I feel like this is a good company.
Yeah.
I mean,
it gets the feeling.
That's not a logical statement. That's I feel like these guys are pretty good. And that's exactly what we're after.
And there's another compliment you can add to that, especially if they advertise mass media, is through repetition, much like some of the companies out there, Hiller, Find the Happy Face Truck Today.
Right.
They're all about that, when you're not actively seeking them as a consumer, but when something breaks, okay, who am I going to call?
Right.
Hopefully that awareness kicks in.
Right.
I had the same kind of phenomenon in the collision business when I was in that business before I got into the car business. Was, his game was to win the awareness quotient, right?
Absolutely.
And that's all he did with a catchy jingle.
Yep.
And once people, had a fender bender, who do I call? Well, his whole thing is that we're not going to steer you to the insurance company, or the insurance company is going to steer you to where they want you to go because they're saving money on your repair.
Yeah.
Have them come here and we'll take care of you. Here's another, being that you're a savvy marketer as well, two scenarios. And this was actually brought up on a podcast I was on this morning. When a car dealership says, hey, we're closed on Sundays because we want to give our employees and their families a day off just to be with recharge their batteries. We hope you appreciate that. We'll see you Monday. There are actually people in that industry that say, aren't you afraid of missing out selling those 10 cars that you're going to sell that day? Sure. What do you and he asked me, the host of the show asked me, this is, what do you think of that? And do you think that hinders a business?
So the first T of the TOT method is traffic. So the TOT. So if we go down this line, which I find it to be incredibly useful for evaluating these kinds of things. So the question that you're asking is does the traffic down, you're making a decision to reduce the amount of traffic on your property for a trust exchange. So if you're marketing that you are going to give people Sundays off, you're marketing a trust element. It's not a better offer to your people. The people want you 24/7. Your customers want you 24/7 whenever they want you. But what you're hoping for is that by signaling that we're a company that takes care of our people, there's a portion of the population that's going to say, I respect that and I like that.
And I think those are the more relational-minded people.
Yeah.
They're transactional. And that's what I pretty much told them. I said, you got transactional people, you got relational-minded people. You're going to pick your poison. And draw your line in the sand by signaling things like that. Because in every action that you do, verbal or unverbal, nonverbal, you're signaling something, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And B&I. Every single week when we stand up and give our 30-second commercial, even though what's coming out of our mouth, our body language, the way we conduct ourselves before and after the meeting, all those are signals that people interpret.
And some of the most powerful ones are when other people start signaling for you. And that's where, and again, if you think of this in terms of human elements of when other, it's like, okay, I see you over there. It's like when we hear a commercial every week, 30 seconds, you hear the same commercial sort of thing. Yeah. And every week you're just kind of listening for, I know, and this is where like the offer against the trust, I know I'm just a broken record here, but when you start to break down marketing this way, it is so fascinating because you're like, every week people stand up and give an offer. Listen for the trust. So are they communicating things that make your eyebrows go up? And you go, That's
a surprise broker moment almost.
Yeah, it's a like, well, it's the feeling like this is the expression of legit. That's just like, that seems legit. Like, hey, I just had, we just had OPEX and Tara Cheatham. She brought an actual life change thing in, and she can stand up every week for years and say, I changed people's lives. She probably did more trust building in bringing that one person in to actually give the testimonial in real time in a way that we believed. And it's like, we believed her. Like, you could see it. You could see the appreciation she had for the gym and for the life change that had gone on in her life. And you look at it and go, my trust in Tara went up in her ability to do her job, even though I know her offers to death. And so like we've heard them for, years. And so, that kind of impact, as you're weighing down and through those, it's really fascinating to see where you're kind of pushing those levers and trying to grow that trust.
So it's fair to say that even when somebody hires you, you're going to find the essence of their business in a way.
Yeah.
Because you're cultivating all the messaging from the reviews they currently have.
Yeah.
They're going to identify things they need to fix or pump on the things that they're doing right.
Yeah.
That's the same like in Kelly Rice's, who's another B&I member, Dr. Kelly Rice. She's on episode 101. She talked about, I asked her, what is the one word you own in the mind of the prospect?
Yeah.
And it's a marketing question.
Totally.
I ask, right? What's your phrase or word?
Totally.
And she came out with it. And it was from people, fed that to her. Mm-hmm. You've changed my life with your dentistry. Mm. And it just wasn't from one person. It was from numerous people over the years. Yeah. I always tell people in business, if you're confused about how to describe what it is that you do, or it takes you 5 minutes,
right,
what you can say in 6 words, ask the last 10 to 15 customers you've had.
Sure.
Okay. How would you describe what it is that I do to somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
You'll find a common theme in that.
Yeah.
But you got to do the work.
Absolutely. And we do, for our customers, one of my favorite exercises is from StoryBrand. Donald Miller with StoryBrand. He has an exercise called the one-liner, which is fantastic. It's longer. It's a longer answer than the what's the one word that you own in the customer's mind, which is, it's fascinating because that comes from a book, at least where I know it comes from, called The 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing. That's right.
A recent Trout.
Yeah. Yep. And a fantastic, quick read.
It's a lot of the examples are dated in it, but man, is it true today as it ever was.
It is. It is. And so the word that I wanted to own initially, so he goes through a couple of laws there, which is this is just fascinating marketing conversation, but he goes through a couple of laws, and the one is like own a category. Right. Yeah. Own a category. And if you don't own a category, create a subcategory. So
create one to be first in.
Create one to be first in. Exactly. Right. So I created the SEO first website design process, which
became more than just a website designer.
That's exactly right. Which is my offer shifted where it was like that I'm competing against how many website designers publicly and your brother-in-law who can build you a website in the basement kind of thing. all over town. It's a super saturated market for building websites. So
and then you got WYSIWYG on top of that.
That's right. Yeah, you got all the Squarespaces.
WYSIWYG is, just so people know, it is what you see is what you get.
That's right.
That's the acronym.
Yeah, and that's typically your Squarespace, your Wix, your Weebly's, where you're starting, a lot of
GeoCities.
Yeah. GoDaddy, GoDaddy's hawking their, always
Website
hawking their
services.
throw a free website on there. So we redesign a lot of those, let me tell you. But it's a good place to start. And so, so we created the SEO first. That was I was like, okay, we specialize in SEO first website design process, but I could never get to a word. The word I thought was, for a while we said a better local business website is what we're doing. And I wanted to own the word better.
It could be a phrase. Yeah. Better is too broad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I think for the local context, it's like, we don't really get to own a word, as much as like a national brand. Like his writing for that was like national brand oriented.
Yeah. But it still applies to local businesses.
Super does.
Yeah.
And
I've always had an idea for an HVAC company, because, a lot of them capitalize on service. I'm like, nobody really capitalizes on comfort. Our job is to keep you comfortable.
Yeah.
And I even own the URL, beachchairheatingandair.com. What's better image than sunny and 75 sitting on a beach? How comfortable are you?
I love it because the colors make themselves. Right. So it's like you've already got the colors. Right. You've already got the laid back feel. Your marketable persona is going to be in a swimsuit. I got it. Yeah.
You from the initial consultation to finding out what the problem is, to the presentation of the solution, to the pricing, to our being in your home.
Yeah.
You're going to be assured that you will be comfortable.
Interesting.
And we'll get your comfort back.
Well, one of the things that we kind of passed over was the traffic portion of it. So if your trust and your offers aren't great, you can make up for it by visibility. Yeah. So that's the first, you were talking before of like Hiller and like just exposure. And that's just repetition with offer, which absolutely is a strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely is a strategy. And it's not available to most businesses because they don't have the budget.
But at the same time, if you're a Vaynerchuk fan, he says all the time that the greatest marketing won't fix a crappy product.
Yeah. Yeah, it will. Yeah. You can get away with it for a little bit, but your reviews, your actual trust assets won't be there. Yeah. They won't follow it up with it. So, and
that's a whole other set of challenges within a business, creating the culture and things of that nature. I mean,
well, and one of the best traffic sources you will always have is referrals from people who are sold out to your product.
Absolutely. Word of mouth.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if every customer you get turns into one or two more customers or even 0.5 customers, then your marketing's going to crush.
Do you ever engage in the practice and strategy of telling people or encouraging a business to tell their prospects what they're not? A lot of people, I want to tell everybody what I am. So what about telling them what they're not?
Yeah. So there's a risk reward element there. I think if you're in an industry in which that is appealing, and that there's a large enough audience that's looking for specifically a type of company that isn't those things, then you could probably win because there's certain industries where there's enough saturation to what's expected that being the anti-expected is actually really appealing to a big enough portion of the audience that you can build a business there. Yeah. And so I
that's almost like on your level, what we are not is just another website company.
Right. Yeah.
That's just gonna take what you want and put it on a website. We are actually going to show you how to get better at what matters, being found, getting the traffic.
Yeah, we talked, I guess I've done a little bit of this in the past because we talked about design. I have the boogie monster in our business is what I call a design first or a design only agency. And so there are agencies that make their case based on we build prettier things than the other folks do. Right. And so we always positioned ourselves as I don't set out to build beautiful things, although oftentimes we do build beautiful things. So we showcased ourselves as not a design first agency, but an SEO first agency, where it's like our first focus is
Results.
it's results, and results have to consider the traffic part of if you're design first, that those agencies can be really awesome.
Yeah.
But they are only focused on the offer and the trust portions.
You know how you paint that picture?
No, please.
Think of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of people watch the Super Bowl. Why?
Because football.
Well, the second reason,
Commercials.
commercials.
Come on now.
A lot of the commercials, it's one of the best ad spends of the year because of the exposure.
Yep. Traffic. Yep.
And what do most of the ad agencies try and go for? They try to elicit human emotion
Absolutely.
or laughter.
Those Budweiser commercials, man, the Clydesdales. And,
But that's the only brand you remember.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times? And that's a similar kind of phenomenon you're talking about.
Yeah.
We are a design first agency. Okay, that's great. So a lot of these agencies that put Super Bowl commercials together do it for the wow factor because it's the Super Bowl. They want it to be funny. But we always forget about the one thing that the advertiser's paying for.
That's exposure.
Awareness.
Yeah.
Of who they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they leave the commercial going, okay, I don't know who it was for, but that was funny.
yeah, totally. Yeah.
All right. Same kind of phenomenon, I would imagine. You know?
Well, and then the reason that they pay millions of dollars for that moment is because there's 300 million eyeballs available to it, and so we're design first or design only, and I want to be super careful because there are some super talented folks out there, and it's okay if they
I'll say it.
specialize. Yeah,
There are people that are very interested in winning the awards because you go to some of these big award shows here locally, even in Nashville, Air Awards or Addy Awards, things of that that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're there to win the awards. Look at what we did. Look at this pretty thing, blah, 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 blah.
Beautiful things. Yep.
That's one thing, we are not concerned with winning awards. Do we win them every now and then? Yes.
Yeah.
But we are not concerned with them. We are concerned with one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
Creating a website that gets results for you.
Return on investment.
That's right.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And so the SEO first is essentially a commitment to, and SEO is just one traffic channel.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a really important one for most local businesses. So the SEO first said, we're going to put the SEO impacts to SEO at the front of our conversations instead of the back of our conversations. And so as a website designer, if you redesign a website in the wrong way, then you can destroy your traffic while improving your offers and trust assets. And that's where, like, if you've ever gone through a big expensive website redesign and you get to the end of it and you're like, it didn't work. Like, how come the phone is not ringing? It usually means that one of those three areas has been missed.
Yeah.
And usually it's the traffic. Usually that's the one that's like, oh yeah, well, it looks really pretty, but yeah, they said they were going to do something with the SEO, or they were going to start a PPC campaign afterwards, sort of thing, or the traffic gets assumed in as part of the deal, and it can leave you flat where one goes down, the other two go up. You're left in the same equation.
Well, this is the longest we've gone without this.
What's your problem?
At some point, we got to ask, what's your problem?
Yeah. What's my problem?
What is your problem?
Oh, scaling is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Scaling is really challenging. Yeah.
What kind of challenges are you having with scaling?
Challenges with scaling. I think when it comes to website design and local digital marketing as a niche and serving, one of the problems with the TOT method that we have is that we've served over 80 different niches now, and part of why I do what I do and know how to do what I do is because every time a different niche comes in, I have to figure out their traffic sources, their offers, and their trust, and how to design it into a package that they'll buy.
Does that all go through you?
Not always. No. Yeah. But I'm usually still involved on the like chief digital strategist kind of side of things. So I certainly want to make sure, and am consistently making sure that the team is targeting the right things, even though they do so much of it at this point. Like, the team is doing really awesome.
How big's the team so far?
I lose count, so forgive me, team, if you watch this. We're probably 13.
Good for you.
13 or so. Yeah, we were 18 a year and a half ago, and we are much happier at 13. So it's in good shape 13 wise. Yeah. So that's great. And
It's a lot to juggle.
It is. Yeah. We're big traction believers. So, we use the entrepreneur operating system, and it allows me to focus on things like the top method and figuring out how we do what we do. A lot of my time is spent in that. And that's great. That's what a visionary leader should do, and they should be allowed and empowered to do that.
It just takes time to get there. I mean, and that's one of the biggest problems I'm coming across with a lot of people, entrepreneurs, is the scaling. How do I remove myself from the business? I want to work on my business rather than in my business. It's a challenge. And a lot of people, coaches, especially, well, you can't say yes to everything. Well, you got to in the beginning. Okay. You got to say yes to a lot of things because you got to survive. And there's at least a 5 to 9 year process of just eating dirt.
Totally.
Okay. And that's just part of the process until you don't have to.
Absolutely.
God willing, the economy holds strong and you're able to, see it through to its completion. The reality is that's how it works. Absolutely. Unless you have a mountain of cash you can burn through.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And a lot of business owners, new business owners, entrepreneurs do not.
Absolutely. Yeah. Traction was the key that unlocked my business about 2 or 3 years ago.
I know another business that does that, the EOS methodology too.
Yeah. And so it is, if you're a business that's struggling with scaling, it's phenomenal.
But would it have helped you early on?
Knowing what I know now, I would say absolutely. I wish I would have had it about 4 years before I did, because I think it would have saved me a lot of heartbreak. And I'll tell you why. The top method, or the top method, the EOS method, too many acronyms. The EOS process, or traction, it classifies leaders into 2 distinct categories: the visionary and the integrator. And
heart and head.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you're new in your business, you're going to find out that there's parts of it that you really are not naturally good at. But when you are all alone, there is, your spouse is looking at you, your family's looking at you, your expectations of yourself are staring you in the face. They're all looking at you saying, this is up to you. You got to figure this out. Traction was the book that gave me permission to be a visionary. And that was instrumental, that somebody smarter than me, somebody who had met with, business leader after business leader, and says, actually, the key to unlocking you and your business's ability is for you to admit that most business owners are either mostly visionary, which is like idea oriented, or you are a charts and numbers kind of person. And some of the most successful CEOs and business owners are the ones that do both really well. And they're able to get their businesses a lot farther because they can manifest both positions pretty well. For us mortals, it's really important that you admit to yourself that you're going to need to staff that out. So if I'd have known about it 4 years earlier, I would have started staffing that out even faster instead of expecting myself to do it. But
then why is scaling such an issue?
Scaling's an issue. Coming back to the top method idea is that what's great about the top method is it can serve a lot of different niches really well. The problem with it is that we serve a lot of different niches. And so that creates a very custom marketing scenario. And I still, if you look across the spectrum of agency cost, I'm not pricing us like a custom agency. A super custom agency. Like some of the bids we go up against, you look at it and you're like, I can't believe people get to charge this much for these things. And so,
what are some of the numbers you're talking about?
Well, like we took on a client once we redesigned their entire website and for what ended up being about $12,000 to $13,000 that had monthly payment attachment to it, sort of thing. The price for just the discovery of the agency we were pitching against, just to figure out the offers and the trust assets. That's what the discovery thing was. It was like, hey, let us get to know you. Just the discovery was $50,000.
Here's how much it is for us to grace you with our presence.
That's right. So we can learn about you was $50,000. Yes.
And at that point, you're going, I am massively undercharged.
Yeah, that's right. Totally. Yeah. So,
well, I mean, a lot of that, and you and I have discussed this before in the past. With the Dave Ramsey effect, Cardone effect, Vaynerchuk effect, where you got these guys who are at the top of these massive companies, they drive the interest of the company because of what they're saying, what they stand for, their expertise.
Yeah.
The double-edged sword aspect to that is eventually when you want to remove yourself.
Sure.
You know, when you're in your 50s and 60s, now what?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And that's the biggest problem.
Yep. If you make yourself the center marketable persona of your company, it's going to be tough to replace you.
Do you believe that you need to have an exit strategy?
I think you should always begin with an exit strategy in mind because I think it allows you to build your business in a way that that will inherently allow you to think about questions differently and for scaling. And so, yeah, I think even if you don't have a formalized exit strategy,
have an idea.
Yeah, you should have an idea of it.
That's so many philosophies for and against that notion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's the other aspect, going back to the car dealership open on Sunday, the other one I wanted to ask about. When you hire a financial planner, okay, I don't know if you've ever have or if you've gone down that road yet or whatever, does it matter what car they show up in?
Oh man, you're talking about that's trust asset 101 right there.
But I mean, that's
depends on who you are.
I've asked Brad Lee that, who sat in your very seat. You know, he was on episode 100 of the podcast. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna go with the guy who's driving the really nice car and everything." Because obviously he knows. He's like, but at the same time, I mean, the guy who drives the jalopy, just may not have a value in cars and may know what he's doing. And I'm like, right. What's the answer then?
Right. Yeah. The answer is here would be my answer. It matters to a certain degree to every customer that financial planner would have, in my opinion, because if the car is really junky, you will need other trust assets to overcome it.
It's like being pitched in Vegas when I worked out there. There was a company called I don't know if I mentioned them, but anyway, they what they did was set up corporations in Nevada, and the guys who went, they did seminars on Saturdays and got groups of people together and sold the idea of the corporate lifestyle. And they would get you incorporated, get your taxes done, get you in front of the right attorneys, yada, 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 make you an S Corp or an LLC, whatever. But these guys were just meticulously dressed. And of course, to someone like me who was naive at the time, I'm still naive, who am I kidding? They would come into our radio studio and I would just be utterly impressed. These guys really have it together. You know, I did some work for him on the side, but a buddy of mine who I admire, he saw them, and he's one of I think one of the smartest people I know. This guy, and he goes, "Those guys are dressed way too well."
Yeah,
it's communicating a message that there's something off.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. And it's like
you're too sharp.
You're too sharp.
Yep, absolutely.
So, and then you got a guy like Vaynerchuk who will show up at a company meeting in a hoodie.
Totally. Yeah.
But he can pull it off because he's got the intellect.
Yep. My read on those situations always goes back to so if you have, we sometimes rate negative trust assets. Yeah. So it's like if somebody has terrible reviews, for example, we are starting in a situation in which we have to overcome an asset that is to the negative, meaning people will do business with you, but they have to see other reasons why you're worth doing business with to get over that 5-star review or that 3-star review or like a bunch of 3-star reviews. And a lot of times companies will divert to this is where pricing offers come in. Like typically your pricing offer, when you advertise a big discount sort of thing, that is necessary only because you know that there isn't trust. If there was trust, you could say, we don't tell you our price until you apply.
Yeah.
That's what trust, and you'll go, where do I sign? Because if you're like, this is the solution I want. And so Vaynerchuk gets away with what he does because he is building it in so many other ways. If you're a salesperson or you're somebody who's pounding the pavement and you're showing up too sharp, people are immediately going like, we know.
What are you overcoming?
Yeah, exactly. You're overcoming the fact that you're walking. Like, think about it. When you're a salesman walking through the door, you have zero trust assets in your favor.
Yeah.
So at that moment, you are just an annoying person to come in. Not that those people are annoying, but we all know that moment where you look up and you're like, I'm about to have to tell somebody no. That's not what I want to do with my time right now. And so, but you've got and a lot of those folks, your ability to overcome how rapidly that person can build trust has a huge part to how quickly or how successful they are in like a door-to-door situation. So
how often do you get hit up with sales pitches?
Oh my gosh. Does email count?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even the, I kind of complained about the people on LinkedIn
Yeah.
who you connect with them and instantly you get, a whole page and a half of their sales pitch.
Yep.
DM to you.
Jim, I am not kidding. I delete between 25 and 50 cold emails and messages on LinkedIn a day.
So that's where it's going.
Oh yeah.
That's what you're doing with my messages.
This is why I have scaling issues. I'm spending so much time hitting trash.
That's why you have scaling issues.
It's like
I'm spending all my time on LinkedIn getting rid of stupid DMs.
Oh, it's so true.
But I mean, and it was funny because that's to me the Valpak methodology.
Yeah.
Of hey, I see that you're in this business. We should connect. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Can I? I'll take you up, show up on my podcast, sit down and let's talk about what you just did.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
And let's have a real conversation. Sure. I'll meet with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But do you ever feel like it's sales karma that you have to at least take some of those calls and because you're making them yourself,
So I would say my karma comes in as I am usually the politest, abrupt goodbye on a sales call ever.
How's it go?
It's usually like I'll say, hi, is this Tyler? I'll say, yes, this is Tyler, right? Which is in their minds, I know it. They're like, yes, I've got to the decision maker.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Past the gatekeeper.
Then they start to talk, and the key for them is to not let me speak. Because they want to keep control of the conversation and you watch it happen sort of thing. And so the moment that I get a chance to speak, I just say, I hope you have the most wonderful day ever. I'm not a buyer today. Thank you so much for your call. Gone.
But man, you got a level of interest there, buddy.
yeah.
Someday
That's
you
right.
will be a buyer.
That's right. Yeah, totally. I could just totally look at it and be like, you're doing such a great job, but no.
No. You ever think about coaching them?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes.
When I was getting in the radio, I would get a lot of marketing calls, and you could tell the people were reading, and it would just drive me nuts. I would actually listen to it, and I go, okay, hold on. Yes? Take that line again.
Yeah. Try that one again. Yeah.
Really sell it to me because that's a good line, and I feel like you're reading. All right. Look at the line. Now take your eyes off the words. See it in your mind, and now tell it to me like you're telling it to a friend. And I'd start coaching them.
Yeah, that's good.
Eventually they'd get tired of that.
Yeah.
Go away.
They'd be like, you're not actually going to buy, are you?
No.
Yeah. No. So when I do respond to a cold email, which is extremely rarely, I bet it's probably twice a year at the most, I'll usually say something like, it worked. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Schedule me a demo. And so you are one of, 6,000 that made through. Because it's a lot.
Welcome to Tyler Idle.
Yeah, I bought a lot of software, so yeah, I have my company uses a lot of software, and so I don't know which one of those guys are selling my information, but some of them are because it's bad. It's like I'll sign up for I just started doing videos, so it's like I sign up for like 8 different things, to try to like figure out which software we're going to use and quick test them or whatnot, and it's like you just see this spike of cold emails come through over the next 30 days, where it's like somebody just took that lead information, just said this guy's buying videos. Go ahead and grab him.
I got a live one.
That's right. This guy's in shop mode. So it's brutal, but
I usually just publicly shame them.
There you go.
I do the I'll take snapshots of their DM and put it on my LinkedIn and say this is not the way to do this. I'm like, I literally a couple of weeks ago, and I have it on. I made a video. I took photos of it from the video camera on my house.
Yeah.
I'm in my car. I pull into my driveway, getting all my things together, ready to go down to the mailbox. And all of a sudden I go to open the door and there's a guy that's standing there looking at me at the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, hey, sir. I'm going, no. You're lucky I'm not armed.
Yeah. Totally.
There are people I know that would have shot you just now.
Right. Hey there. Yeah.
I open up. Immediately I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm just wondering, who do you write into no freaking hey, do you want to dance? Do you want some more d'oeuvres? Hey, how about I get you a glass of wine? What do you think about getting dinner? And dessert? Hey, you want to go back to your place? None of that. Just right to the freaking.
Totally.
Hey, can I just freaking pound you right now? You know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, guys, does this work? And I was like, dude, does this work?
Yeah.
I said, this is a non-soliciting neighborhood, by the way. But does this really work for you?
Yeah.
He goes, oh yeah. I said, okay, it's not going to work for me. Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then I said, it's a non-soliciting neighborhood, so off you go. Goes right to the neighbor's house, and I'm watching it. I'm going, the house is part of the neighborhood, dude.
Yeah.
It's still but I have a permit. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, right. I have a permit to solicit the non-solicited neighborhood. Yeah, it is
It's like you're a walking Valpak. That's all you are.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and honestly, like did my time. So many like you say, the karma.
Yeah.
It's like on one hand, it is super frustrating, but I remember I closed a $250,000 marketing deal on a cold email off, and it's like, it worked. I saw the open. But
what got what did you use to get their attention?
Oh, I can't even remember. This would have been 12, 13 years ago. And I don't remember, but I don't remember.
I sold my video services to an agency probably well over a decade ago. And actually the former owner of that agency is coming in here in a couple of weeks to do a podcast. His name is Arnie Malham. I don't know how to say his last name right, but he was the owner of a company called CJ Advertising. And I got his attention by emailing him and saying, hey, how about using humanizing videos for your clients? And he says, that's the word that got me. Humanizing.
Oh, nice.
And that's what got him to respond.
Words are powerful, man.
The subject line has got to be crafted.
That's its own skill set.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, really, really is. And that's
I tell voiceover people, if you want to prospect for clients, the radio, local market radio is your best prospecting field.
Interesting.
And, if you come across an advertiser that they're already advertising, so they're already going to be interested in what you do as a voiceover talent, especially if you can produce.
Yeah.
Imagine listening to the spot set and finding the spots that are always voiced by the radio station personnel. And if you listen to enough of them, you can start hearing the same voices.
Yeah.
Because I was that guy at the radio station. So we would have, I would tell them, listen for the advertisers you like. Maybe it's a dealership. Maybe it's this, that, whoever you like. Maybe you used them in the past, I said, take whatever it is, as much as you can, transcribe it, maybe write 10 or 15, 20 seconds of an ad, give them a speculative spot. We call it spec spots.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. It's good.
What better way to get an email open to somebody who is the decision maker by saying, I heard your ad on the radio, ...
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Because they're like, they're inherently
what is this about?
Interested in their own marketing. Yeah. That's good.
Okay.
That's good tactic.
Are they going to complain or are they going to praise me?
Yeah. That would be a tough one to ignore. That's good.
So, little strategy I teach people.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's good. Good minutes.
Going to sit here awkwardly.
Yeah, it's good minutes.
Well, here we go. We've gone a long, long time on this. And conversionfirstmarketing.com.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Still there.
Is there a link tree where people can follow Tyler, the personality?
I actually don't have a link tree, but I'll do one shout out. That is, we've started making videos. So a lot of the tot stuff is stuff that we're just started. We've been in the lab for years as an agency, just kind of put it into practice and thinking like, I think this could be helpful to people if we start to share some of these things. So on Fridays, now I do a thing called Answer Fridays where I start to roll out some of these things. They're 1-minute answers to the client questions that we have from the week before. And we're just kind of playing with the format right now and rolling it out a couple videos at a time. So if you just do a search for Conversion First Marketing on YouTube and hit subscribe, then you can hear from me every week.
Well, I'm going to give you a suggestion on that.
Yeah, please.
Those, because you're producing them for YouTube Shorts, which are 60 seconds or less.
Correct.
Which can be put out to Instagram, TikTok, things of that nature, LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Those are little teasers. But then you could build your main YouTube channel off of a full bore deep dive into that concept. Obviously, it's a lot more involved for you to do that. But, I'm just thinking that, for the more extensive topics, you could really build an audience and get them interested.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, those are also podcast options. They can be audios.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's actually harder for me right now to make a 60-second, to summarize a digital marketing idea in 60 seconds.
Yep.
Edited, pulled together. It's harder than if I just, which I do these a lot, and these are a part of our channel too. So you can see this kind of content where it's like, I'll just literally open up my screen and I'll be like, hey, let's take a look at this website, or here's the principle that we're talking about. Here's our offer. Here's our trust asset that we're pulling together. So there's some of that on there, but yeah, it's been harder work to get the 60 seconds, try to get those ideas without a video and without like sitting there doing it.
Well, think about the candor aspect in the beginning. Hey guys, right off the bat, let me tell you, there's more of a deep dive on the YouTube page of this concept, but here's what we're pretty much covering.
Yeah.
These 3 concepts, boom, boom, boom. Here's how to go into it. I'm going to really do a deep dive on this whole concept in the YouTube, in my main page on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, and then we'll see you there.
I love it. Do you know any good voiceover guys?
No.
Yeah.
No, just
neither.
me.
Yeah, I haven't met one yet. I would love an intro. That'd be good. So,
of course. Well, go check it out and check out the Answer Fridays feature that Tyler's almost called you Travis. Tyler's doing. Old man brain. And check us out, whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Rate as far as what Tyler's been talking about with ratings. I care if you give me a 1-star review, but I understand. I get it. It's probably all me. Yeah. But 5 stars are preferable. And of course, if you want to reach out and talk to us and suggest anything, whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Tyler, once again, thank you, my friend.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thanks.